Alright, so what we're going to be going over this time are actions. Actions in Photoshop are a way of recording what you do. And as you record what you do, you can then play it back. So I have a random image here of inside a store, and the toolbar, it looks like a play button, like from a VCR. If you don't see it there, it's Windows Actions. And it'll bring this up. And we're going to dock that right there. There we go. So what we have here are a series of actions that have already been recorded. They're kind of like there as like a, hey, look at these, check them out. And if I click on the one that says wood frame and I play it, right? So it's already been recorded and I play it. Yeah. It also plays the wrong one. Let's try this again. There it is. So we play, we say continue. Alright. So what it's done is it's created a quote wood frame. I use heavy quotation marks. It obviously doesn't look like wood, but it actually went through a lot of different steps. And if we click here, it actually first did this, and then you can see it set a foreground color to a certain color, and then it filled in whatever shape it was, and added noise, motion blur, and it did all these different things to try and come up with this particular look. If I wanted to, I could just simply record one of these things. So if I double click on it, I'm sorry, not record, play it back, and I can make changes to that one particular section of it. We're going to go ahead and go file revert to get the original image back. And there are several others in here that have that kind of thing. Now some of them, like molten lead, this actually is just meant to add stuff. It doesn't actually it doesn't do anything to the background picture. What it's doing is it's creating, in the size of the picture that we already have, this particular texture. So you guys made a lot of textures last week, and you can record that you did that. But we can also make our own, and making our own is going to be more helpful than a lot of these preset ones that have been here for a very, very long time. So first thing we're going to do is, you can see this panel down here. It looks the same as the layers panel, so you could delete stuff, make new folders of stuff. Those are all the same. So we're going to create a new folder of things, and they're called sets. And actually, we're going to call them my actions. And you need to do that if you want to be able to take them with you anywhere, because just like brushes, these only save on this copy of like Photoshop on this computer until you go somewhere else. And then I say new action, and I can call it whatever I want, and I hit record, and it already starts recording. So some things it does record. It records image adjustments, so you can set levels across multiple, brighten it, darken it, brighten it. Let's brighten it. We want it to look terrible. No, I'm just kidding. You can set levels across all sorts of different images. So you can see it recorded that. I can also colorize it. I hate the default colorize. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, so we can record any number of image adjustments. We can also record filters. So if you wanted to, you can add distorts and noise and any of these kinds of things. I'm not going to do it because I'm recording, and I'm recording the video, and that's going to run into trouble RAM-wise. One thing it won't really record particularly the right way is drawing brush strokes. You'll see it didn't do anything. It got that I selected the pencil, but it didn't record this. So we're going to stop our recording for a second, hit undo to get rid of that. And I can also delete where it said select pencil because I don't want it to be there. So you can really get into the nitty-gritty of what's getting recorded. But you have to make sure that if you stop recording, you start recording again so that it can remember things that it needs to do. Another thing that I found very helpful that it can record is image size. So these are all huge images. I want to bring them down to a more normal size. So if you're making thumbnails, right, you can easily get all sorts of thumbnails that are the right size and shape, that kind of thing. So let's say I'm done. So I hit stop. And I'm going to revert this back again, back to where it was. Now if I select action 1 and I play through it again, it'll play through all of the different things. You see it change the color, it changed the levels, and it did it exactly in the order that I asked it to. So if I wanted to switch these, I could simply drag one above the other and it would do hue saturation before it did levels, that kind of thing. So why record actions? Well, the idea behind recording actions is that what if you have to record, or rather commit that action to, oh, I don't know, an entire thing of photographs, right? So I have a lot of photographs. They're all landscape. And they are all also the same size because they all came from my same camera and I'm too lazy to change my settings. So because they're all the same size, I know I can make an image size change. If some are portrait, meaning they're vertical, then it won't work that well with that. But I've got too many images. I'm not doing that to all of them individually. So we're going to say File, Automate, Batch. And the way this works is I would choose, my action. It's doing action 1 because that's the last thing I recorded. But you would choose your action here. You would say I want to choose a folder, and then I have to find my desktop. Oh, boy howdy. Let's see. Photos for batching. And I would select that. Now you can't actually see where your files are. This does not show you anything that's in the folders, so you kind of have to know where your right folder is. You want to suppress all these options in the dialog box, so those are things like your color profile doesn't match the color profile that was on the thing, and you're always like, yeah, okay, I get it. You don't want that to come up 45 times. Now, I have tried this in the past. It works in some cases, it doesn't work in other cases. To say, go to a new folder. So make a copy of this in a new folder. We'll see if it works. It probably won't. It might not. If I try to break it, it won't break. So we're going to say that, and there we go. So if I hit OK, here's the problem. It's done some things that unflattened the image, and now it's asking me how I want to save these JPEGs again. And it's like, I don't want to have to hit OK every single time. You can see it's processing everything, but I keep having to hit OK. That's old. So I'm telling it to stop because I don't want to do that. There is another solution. Save changes, no. So I'm going to bring that set of folders up again. There we go. And what I can do instead of having the actions do the work for me, I'm going to make a copy of everything. I'm going to paste them all in here. I'm going to say copy and replace. All right, so I've got a secondary copy of these in here. And I'm just going to open an image to work with. And I'm going to play through my action. So I'm going to make it do all of the stuff I have so far. And then I'm going to hit record again. Because I'm going to tell it to save the file as a JPEG, and it's going to record that I hit OK. And then close. So, and then I hit stop. So what we're telling it to do is we're telling it how to save. This save right here that's being that is being recorded, it's recording the fact that I hit OK on the JPEG every time. It's like, that's what I want. That's the settings I want. Just leave it. And it's also recording that we close it. If you don't record a close function, you'll just get everything open along the top here, and that's no good. All right, so now when I go to batch this, it should... I have to tell it new batch. I have to make my own copy. This is super destructive, right? I'm always talking about non-destructive editing. This is all super destructive. So I made a new folder that's going to be batched. My originals will still be the same. They'll be untouched just in case. But instead of destination folder, I'm saying destination none. When you have the problem of a dialog box coming up during save, you can't do move into a new folder because it has to save a new file. And you can't do save and close either. We have to just do none. And we hit OK. And it just starts going. And if I bring this up here, you can see, all right, if I go back again, now more of them are sepia toned. You can actually watch them update from here so that your screen isn't blinking. If you needed to stop for any reason, you hit escape. Maybe you needed to pause just because you need the RAM. Other times you might need it to pause because, nope, it's all broken, it's not working, and you hit stop and you can close off and fix it. Your biggest concern with actions are two things. One, making sure you actually record all the steps, because if you skip something, if you accidentally don't record a move or you delete a move that you need, it's not going to be able to work with whatever it is you're trying to work with. For example, it might not, if you don't record the fact that you've unlocked the background layer, it's not going to make you let you make any changes in terms of like if you needed to move it or something like that. So just be aware that you need to be very careful while you're recording. The other thing to be careful of is to make sure that you're creating copies of things, right? So it's a little bit of a pain. Here's all the originals, they're untouched. And then inside is the folder of ones that are all made smaller and all colorized, because very destructive. I could get halfway through before I realize, oh no, I forgot something's wrong, right? But if you're into animation, this comes in handy because that runs at 24 frames a second. If you're in photography and you need to make thumbnails, this is the way to do it. All right. Most things will record, but pay attention over here. Brush strokes are not going to record. Okay. And that's it.